All right, relay carts continue to be ready. Mesa Aquatics Masters, please pick it up, along with Riverside Aquatics Association and West Hollywood Aquatics. Cards are ready. Please, coaches, come pick those up from administration. And underway, Heat 1 of 23 is Event 28, the men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 3, Neil Weiner from West Hollywood Aquatics. Lane 4, Richard Burns from Tamalpais Aquatics Masters. Swimming unattached in lane 5 is James Shaw. And from the University of San Francisco, Jack Fleming in lane number 6. Richard Burns with a race all of self there in lane number 4. Cruising in under the flags, touching first with an unofficial time of 1:33.67. And again, there are 23 heats in this event 28. Coming up next is heat number 2. Here we go, heat 2. And heat 2 in the water. Lane number 2, Rick Miller from Long Beach Grunions. In lane number 3, Stephen Fogg from Puget Sound Masters. In lane 4, Alan Bernard from Temple Pius Aquatics Masters. In lane number 5, Lee Childs from Sarasota Sharks Masters. And in lane number 6, Rick Meyerhoff from Temple Pius Aquatics Masters. Very great race in the middle of the pool there. Who will touch first? Looks like lane number 4. And it is lane number 4, Alan Bernard, with an unofficial time of 1:20.35. Heat 3. And into the water, Heat 3 of 23 of the men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 2, William Kennedy from Mission Viejo Masters. In lane 3, Joel Ellis from San Diego Swim Masters. Lane 4 has Ray Borzone from Mission Viejo Masters. In lane 6, Eric Stern from Golden Road Aquatics. And finally, in lane number 7 is Alan Ukik from Illinois Masters. And Stephen Fogg with the current lead as they come under the flags. Stephen hailing from Washington State up there will touch first. And he'll do so with a 1:24.30. San Diego. And that was actually Joel Ellis there touching first. Congratulations. Heat 4. And cruising off the blocks into Heat 4. In lane number 2, Scott Collier from Alaska Masters Swimming. In lane number 4, Tom Wolf from Lone Star Masters. In lane 5, Phil Dodson from Illinois Masters. Lane 6 is Mark Majeska from Arizona Masters. And swimming from Excel Swimming in lane number 7 is James Raleigh. An important announcement to swimmers who are currently about to get up the blocks here. We're going to start doing flyovers, so make sure you're ready to go. Again, we will be flying over into the next heats here. And Tom Wolf in lane number 4 there with an encouraging lead as he comes under the flags. He will touch first with an unofficial time of 1:13.32. Heat 5. All right, into Heat 5 we go. Swimming in lane number 1 is John Holbeck from Yucaipa Swim Team. Lane 2, John Chambers from Agua Masters. In lane number 3, Dan Stephenson from Rose Bowl Masters. Swimming in from North Carolina Masters in lane number 4 is Greg Sanchez. Lane number 5 has Dennis Fisher hailing from New Albany Aquatics. Lane 6, Thomas Taylor from Rose Bowl Masters. And in lane 7, Tom Burke swimming from Orange County. Riptides. Great podium race forming out there in the middle of the pool. Lanes 3, 4, and 5, or 6, excuse me. Very close. I will not be able to call it from my vantage point. To the board we go. And it is lane number 4, Greg Sanchez, taking the first place there with a 108.54. 109.54, excuse me. Heat 6. Heat 6 in the water. Lane number 1, Marcelo Rosa, swimming for Associate Bras Masters Nationals. In lane number 3, Philip Matchett, swimming for Mission Viejo Masters. Lane 5, Jamie Garcia Carranza from Costa Rica Country Club. Lane 6, Brent Washburn from Oregon Masters. And in lane number 7, John Kibler from Southern California Masters. And coming in first there, lane number 3 is going to be Philip Matchett from Mission Viejo Masters, touching first with an unofficial time of 1:10.59. Heat 7. And Heat 7 at 23 underway with a fully stacked pool. Lane number 1, Hector Chow from Walnut Creek Masters. Lane number 2, Igor Vazhinen from Dynamo Swim Club. In lane number 3, Michael Doyle from Lone Star Masters. From Phillips Swim Club in lane number 4 is Fred Schuster. Lane number 5 has David Sims from Santa Barbara Masters. From Oregon Masters in lane number 6 is Douglas Christensen. Lane 7 has Jonathan Foss from Minnesota Masters Club. And finally, in lane number 8, Rod Strait from San Diego Swim Masters. As another reminder, swimmers, we are doing flyover starts now, so remain in the pool until after somebody flies over your head. Swimmers, remain in the pool until somebody flies over your head for that next heat. Thank you. Very close race there. Lane number 4 and 5. Oh, just out touching lane number 4 is lane number 5, David Sims. Congratulations with a 105.85, touching first. Gentlemen, stay in the pool. Heat 8. All right, Heat 8 of 23 in the water. Again, this is the men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 2, Matt Coultier from Golden Road Aquatics. Swimming unattached in lane number 3, Doug Kohler. In lane number 4, Dan Borton from Rose Bowl Masters. Lane 5, Jeff Stegner from Walnut Creek Masters. Lane 6, Caillou Lee from Paseo Club Masters. And in lane number 8, Dieter Swank from Oceanside Masters Club. And the dark horse out in lane number 8, Dieter Swank. Nobody saw him flying past them out there in that outside lane, but he did touch first with an unofficial time of 1:11.90. Heat 9. Off the blocks into Heat 9. Lane number 1, Jorge Majarez from Swim Fort Lauderdale. Lane number 2, James Tobin from Mission Viejo Masters. Lane 3, Pablo Conde from Maitris A. Contre Courant. Lane number 4, Charles Stevens from Rose Bowl Masters. Lane 5 has Bob Garland from Colorado Masters Swimming. Charles Stevens in lane number 4 with an excellent stroke as he comes under the flags. Touching first with a 104.43. Almost a 4-second drop there. Heat 10. Heat 10 of 23 in the water. Lane number 1, John Rockwell from Club Tribe. Lane number 2, Daniel Parton from San Diego Swim Masters. From Rose Bowl Masters in lane number 3 is Ronald Scott. Lane 4 has Steve West from Nova Aquatics Masters. Lane 6, Kelly Karen from Conejo Valley Masters. Lane 7, David Sumner from Mission Viejo Masters. And finally out there in lane number 8 is Jonathan Flackel from Walnut Creek Masters. And here comes a great race, flying down to the finish, no pun intended. Steve West in lane 4 looks to be touching first as he flies under the flags. Yes, he will with an unofficial time of 1:02.05. And Heat 11 of 23 in the water. In lane number 2, Jonathan Goler from Nova Aquatics Masters. From Swim Fort Lauderdale, lane number 3 has Zambrano Gonzalez. Lane 4, Travis Bartosh from Nova Aquatics Masters. Lane 6, Douglas Herman from Mission Viejo Masters. And finally in lane number 7 is Dana Adkins from Club Tribe. And here's a serious race for first place in lane numbers 2, 3, and 4. Very close as they come to the wall. Ooh, with half a stroke there. Looks like lane number 3 touching first. I'm sorry, lane number 4 touching first. With an unofficial time of 1:08.26. That was Travis Bartosh from Nova Aquatics Masters. Heat 12. And finally coming to the halfway mark of event 28, the men's 100-meter butterfly. This is Heat 12. In lane number 1, David Popko from Rose Bowl Masters with his teammate Kevin Quinn next to him in lane number 2. Lane number 3, David Bell from Club Tribe. Lane 4, Joshua Schwartz from Rose Bowl Masters. From West Hollywood Aquatics in lane number 5 is Jeffrey Peterson. Jonathan Matthews from lane number 6 from Oregon Masters. And in lane number 7, Wayne Delport from San Diego Swim Masters. And it's a great afternoon of swimming here. Entertainment value is high as we are given yet another very close race. Lanes 4 and 5 battling it out for that first place prize. Oh, and it looks like it's going to be lane number 4, and it is. Lane number 4, Joshua Schwartz, with an unofficial time of 1:03.32. And thanks to the cleanup crew as we get ready for heat number 13. Heat 13. Off the blocks and into heat 13 of 23. In lane number 1 is Mark Barham from Golden Road Aquatics. Lane 2, Robert Dimtro from Nova Aquatics Masters. Lane 3, Juan Valdiviso from the Olympic Club. Lane 5, Mario Marshall from Golden Road Aquatics. Lane 6, Christopher Gibson from West Hollywood Aquatics. From Mission Viejo Masters in lane number 7 is Andrew Bo Luddy. And finally in lane number 8 is Kevin Doak from Michigan Masters. Mario Marshall showing he's got what it takes here to fend off the rest of the pack. And touch first with an unofficial time of 58.77. He was cooking. Heat 14. So there is one?
One is good.
Okay. And here is event 28, heat 14 of 23. Lane number 1, Jeremy Stapleton from Rose Bowl Masters. From Longhorn Aquatics in lane number 2 is Justin Reynolds. Lane number 3 shows Alexander Lenecker from Golden Road Aquatics. From Swim Fort Lauderdale in lane number 4 is Francesco Manzi. In lane number 5, Ben Smith from Dakota Masters. And finally in lane number 7 is Emmanuel Torres from Walnut Creek Masters. Stroke for stroke in the middle of the pool. Ben Smith appearing to have the slight edge under the flags. And he does and will touch first with an unofficial time of 107.02. Congratulations, Ben Smith. Heat 15. All right, here we go. Heat 15 of 23, the men's 100-meter butterfly, event 28. In the pool in lane number 1 is Jeff Carlson, San Diego Swim Masters. In lane number 2, Benjamin Schick from Arlington Masters. In lane number 3, Kyle Begovic from San Diego Swim Masters. In lane number 4 from Lobo Aquatics Club Masters. In lane number 4 is Benjamin Travelstead. Lane number 5 has Danny Giometti from Mission Viejo Masters. From the Colonials in lane number 6 is Trace Sauter. And in lane number 7, Will Wallum from Nova Aquatics Masters. Coming off the wall is a very tight field here as they come for home. It's anyone's bet currently. Stroke for stroke, the field comes towards the flag. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be lane number 4. Yes, just barely. Lane number 4 with an unofficial time of 102.24. Congratulations goes to Benjamin Travelstead from Lobo Aquatics Club Masters. Heat 16. And here's Heat 16 of 23, Event 28 men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 2, Luke Albitz from Gulf Coast Swim. In lane 3, Dixon Cuey from CMAC Masters. In lane number 4, Sawyer Graziak from Conejo Valley Masters. In lane 5, Luis Pacheco from Nova Aquatics Masters. In lane number 6, Michael Thomas from Mountain View Masters. And finally in lane number 7 is Sean Kilgallen from Team Redbird. And here we go towards the end. Looks like Dixon Cuey. And he will touch first, swimming from CMAC Masters with an unofficial time of 104.97. Heat 17. Off the blocks and into the water, this is heat 17 to 23. Very stacked field. As we go into lane number 1 is Robinson Ibarra from Rose Bowl Masters. From CMAC Masters in lanes 2 and 3 is Kelly Dullard and Andrew Adams. Lane 4 has Brian Weisbecker from Mission Viejo Masters. From Nova Aquatics Masters in lane number 5 is Avalo Babalev. In lane number 6, Daniel Castro from Santa Barbara Masters. From Renaissance Club Sport in lane number 7 is Daniel Jacobson. And finally from Golden Road Aquatics in lane number 8 is Daniel Neal. Stroke for stroke, no real leader emerges currently. Now there's a race for first in lane number 3 and 4. And lane number 4 touching first is Brian Weisbecker from Mission Viejo Masters with an unofficial time of 1:07:17. Heat 18. And into the water is heat 18 of 23. In lane number 1, Jonathan Pierce from Golden Road Aquatics. Lane 2, Eric Shee from Nova Aquatics Masters. From West Hollywood Aquatics in lane number 3 is Tony Cox. Kent Olson Stravakis from lane number 4 in Colorado Masters Swimming. Lane 5, Marcos Lavado from Walnut Creek Masters. From Mission Viejo Masters in lane number 6 is Ryan Turbush. In lane number 7, Sean Kyle from Fullerton Fast Masters team. And finally from San Diego Swim Masters in lane number 8 is Aditya Kamath. And it looks like Marcos Lavado is going to touch first. And he does. With an unofficial time of 58:88. 55:88. Heat 19. And things are starting to heat up now as we get into heat 19 of 23. In lane number 1 is Henry Kopsis from Fat Boy Swim Club. In lane number 2, Daniel Hobbs from Sierra Nevada Masters. In lane 3, Omar Saldivar from San Diego Swim Masters. From the Olympic Club in lane number 4 is Shane Forker. In lane number 5 with a high dive swimming off the block there from New England Mast is Addison Carter Canillo. In lane number 6, Alejandro Tovar Castillo from swimming unattached. In lane number 7, Gavin Baisa from Illinois Masters. And finally in lane number 8 is Jean-Paul Santana from Orange County Riptide. And swimming into the wall in lane number 4 is going to be Shane Forker with an unofficial time of 59:52. Heat 20. Heat 20 of 23, coming close to the end of event 28, the men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 1 is Victor Huerta from San Diego Swimming Masters. From Club Tribe in lane number 2 is Sam Kettlewell Sights. Lane number 3 has Ben Sappi from San Diego Swim Masters. Lane 5, David Saidian from San Diego Swim Masters. Club Tribe again in lane number 6 is Kyle Major. Orange County Riptide, number 7, swimming Trevor Entz. And finally in lane number 8, Daniel Peralta from Mission Viejo Masters. Very close here, coming towards the end. Looks like lane number 2 touches first. From Club Tribe, hailing from Virginia, is Sam Kettlewell Sights with an unofficial time of 59:20. Heat 21. Here we go, final 3 heats of event 28. This is 21 of 23 heats. Lane number 1, Kyle Millis from the Olympic Club with his teammate. In lane number 2, Matthew Whittle. Lane number 3, Taylor Abbott from Mission Viejo Masters. Lane 4, Kevin Mendoza from Santa Barbara Masters. From the Olympic Club in lane number 5 is Andy Song. Lane number 6 has Alexander Garriga from Lone Star Masters. In lane number 7, Sidney Cow from Fullerton Fast Masters team. And finally in lane number 8, Murphy McQuaid from the Olympic Club. Stacked field of sub 1 minute swimmers. Let's see who's going to emerge the winner currently. Looks like in lane number 4, it may be Kevin Mendoza. With no challengers, he will touch first with an unofficial time of 54:92. Heat 22. And here we go in the penultimate heat, heat number 22 of 23. In lane number 3, Logan Mendez, swimming unattached. In lane number 4, Ethan Ho from Santa Barbara, swimming unattached as well. In lane number 5 is Jason Burrow. Lane number 7, Eddie Schultz from Santa Barbara Masters. And finally in lane number 8 is Aiden Ashion from Beaver Swim Club. With a commanding lead in lane number 4 is Ethan Ho, swimming from Santa Barbara Masters. Crushing his seat time, he will touch first with a 58:74. Heat 23. This is the final heat, heat 23 of 23. From event 828, the men's 100-meter butterfly. In lane number 1, Brian Hong from Swimming Unattached. Lane number 2, Connor Martila from Santa Barbara Masters. From Nova Aquatics Masters in lane number 3 is Jackson Olgers. Lane 4, Marcel Hertebois from Konya Valley Masters. In lane number 5, Alex Ong from Orange County Riptide. Lane 6, Eugene DeCasa from Connecticut Masters. Swimming from Santa Barbara Masters in lane number 7 is Dylan Casserier. And in lane number 8, Michael Ryan from Club Tribe. Up next is event 29, the women's 200-meter freestyle relays. And it will be in lane number 3, Jackson Augers touching first with an unofficial time at 56.71. Up next, event 29, women's 200-meter freestyle relay.
Hook up another Bluetooth.
Is there anywhere like I can talk to somebody from Master Swimming? There's like a. I know like they were doing a bunch of.
What heat is this?